Jay-Zee is digging himself a deep hole. Julius is trying to climb out of one. And everybody digs Table Mountain.
Oh my God, have you seen this thing from the National Planning Committee?
You know I don't read, Kwe.
No. It says we are going to create 11 million new jobs by 2030. What have those comrades been smoking?
Relax, Kwede. In 2030, we'll just say that we are going to create 50 million jobs by 2060. And in 2060, we'll promise 100 million jobs by 2090.
But won't the voters see through that?
Have they seen through us so far?
Good point.
Molo hater, how's it, Sunny Bonani? I'm Tim Modise. This is ZANEWS. Let's get it on. My guest today is President Jacob Zuma, who is here to tell us about his new bunker.
It's just a house, Tim.
A house with underground tunnels, a clinic, and a helipad?
Tim, if I have learned one thing in politics, it is that you can never be too rich or too paranoid.
Well, more of that in a moment. But first, as Julius Malema gets ready to fight his suspension, some reports suggest that his dismissal was greeted with scenes of wild celebration in his hometown of Seshego. Julius, it seems you weren't as popular as you always told us.
Futsek, you bloody agents, stop cheering or I will throw Floyd at you.
Julius.
Hello, team. I was just saying hello to my millions of supporters.
It sounds like they are celebrating.
Shut up, team. Nobody is celebrating. Floyd, quickly, fetch my supporters. Team, I'm still loved by the people.
Viva Julius!
Thank
Viva!
you.
Long live!
You are too kind.
Julius,
Please,
our president!
stop.
Long live!
I'm blushing.
Julius, those are cardboard cutouts.
Team, that's very racist. Don't judge people just because they are made of cardboard. What's that? You want me to challenge my suspension and stay in politics and become president?
Yay!
Okay, the people have spoken. Hey, Futsek, stop throwing eggs at my house. Floyd, I think we've got eggs in the fridge. Take them and throw them. No, wait, just throw 3. I must still have lunch.
So, is Julius Malema gone for good? Or will he be like a floater that just won't go down no matter how many times you flush? Thabo Mbeki, you fired Jacob Zuma in 2005. And just 6 years later, you are a forgotten man. And Zuma is calling all the shots. Could the same thing happen with Julius?
Tim, anything can happen. It's the South African dream that any poor boy from Kandla or Seshego can grow up to be president as long as he works hard, listens to his elders, and has a shitload of debt on his enemies and so on and stuff like that.
So could President Zuma find himself in your shoes in a few years?
Tim, no. My shoes are very expensive and I think Jacob has slightly bigger feet than me, so that wouldn't work.
No, I mean Zuma came from behind. Do you think Malema might do the same?
Tim, how President Zuma chooses to come, whether from behind or from in front or upside down, and so on and stuff like that, is between him and his wives. Let's move on.
More and more, there are perceptions that the ANC only acts against corrupt or divisive leaders when they threaten the man in charge.
Tim, you know how misleading perceptions can be. I mean, there was a perception that I was a Marxist centralist who tolerated what is the word?
Opposition?
How dare you interrupt when I'm speaking? Blacklist this man. Get him off air. Snooky. Where is Snooky? Snooky. How did this anarchist get on air? Snooky?
Table Mountain was a surprise inclusion in the final list of the 7 new natural wonders of the world. Helen Ziller, you must be very proud, ma'am.
Oh, yes, Tim, we are very, very proud. And if I may be a politician for a moment, in many ways we feel that the DA is like Table Mountain.
You mean it gives shelter to hundreds of thousands of rock spiders? It's unlikely to change much over the next few million years?
No, Tim. I mean that it's very stable. And when you get to the top, Robben Island and the township look very small and far away.
You have recently changed the names of two major highways to reflect our struggle history. Would you ever consider calling Table Mountain by its original name, what the Khoisan called it before the settlers arrived?
What did they call it, Tim?
They called it Hurikwaho.
Absolutely not, Tim. Firstly, we do not call them huri anymore, okay? The acceptable term is sex workers.
No, Hurikwaho means...
And I have never heard of a sex worker using a kwacha, Tim. Oh, disgusting. It's out of the question.
And finally to my studio guest, Mr. President. You are doing massive renovations to your homestead at Nkandla, including a clinic, a helipad, a lot of underground tunnels and rooms. It sounds like you are creating a fortress, almost as if you are expecting a coup.
Oh, my word, Tim. I am totally confident about the future. And I know that the people love and respect me. But they also loved and respected Muammar Gaddafi, you know? When I went to Libya to negotiate his surrender, everyone in his palace told me how much they loved and respected him. So I'm just covering my bases.
Do you think it's fair that you get your own private clinic in your house while tens of millions of our citizens don't have access to medical treatment?
Tim, can you imagine what would happen to the country if something happened to me?
But you always say the ANC is a collective organization, that if one leader disappears, another steps up to take his place.
Tim, you must work on this tendency of yours to confuse people with facts.
Mr. President, according to the Mail and Guardian, one of your nieces won the tender to do some of the work on your fortress. Your critics might say this is nepotism.
And I must say to my critics, who is the president? Is it me or is it them?
Is it true that some of this work is being paid for by taxpayers?
Tim, I'm the president, Tim. How am I supposed to know these things? It's so easy to lose track of where my money ends and tax revenue begins, you know?
Well, that's all we have got time for, Mr. Zuma. Thank you very much. Why are we doing this?
Because you don't want me to have my own hospital.
Because here we can.
Because you are very mean.
From me, Tim, and the team, is Hambagahle, goodbye, and Futsek.
Julius!
Floyd! Ha! Stop disempowering the cadres. Say sorry.
Oh, sorry, Mr. President.
Not to me, to him.
Sorry.